Howdy. So I was upstairs I was binge watching the new season of Insecure, and I think the situation that Issa and Molly came across, she said something that like triggered this whole conversation. It triggered a memory of a conversation that I was having with someone else. Not exactly what she said to her, but just that type of context of the relationship they had. And so then it made me remember this other thing that I wrote down about relationships. Okay, so what I ask in this, I really need y'all to chime in and participate and tell me what you think it is. Hold on, I gotta turn off my damn post note. I gotta turn my do not disturb on, because this shit is just aggravating when I'm trying to talk and lose my thoughts. Because ding, ding, ding. Anyway, so I felt a long time ago. Whatever. I felt a while ago that the reason why people first let me take a step back and say what Molly said to Issa. She was explaining to her how she thought it was weird that she makes it okay that she works with her ex's new girlfriend, or the person that he's dating. And she told her that she thinks that she likes the messiness or the drama. You know, she said to her that she thinks that she likes it. So somehow it made me think of this thought that I had a long time ago about relationships. And I said to myself, because I went through this, a lot of times people are still stuck in their last relationship and don't realize it. And I'll tell you why. Because your level of consideration should always be consistent. Regardless, right? Because consideration is exactly what it is. So in terms of when you're talking about getting to know a person, you show them more consideration. When you decide to be with them, you know, you might slack up a little bit because, you know, they there now. You ain't got to be, you know, it just depends on who you are. So some people like to slack up in that area. And then after you break up, or when you break up, or when you dislike this person, your consideration might just all go out the window. But when you break up with them, or call yourself breaking up with them physically, sometimes, depending on the situation and the people, your consideration will come back in without them even being there. And I don't mean in a loving sense, just in an energetic sense. So in other words, when you are talking to a person or considering being with another person, you're not thinking about anything. Like, say you bring the person to your friends, or you introduce them through pictures, or this who I'm talking to, and this, you know, blah, 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 whatever you want to do. And we're not talking about you communicating to them and getting their opinion. We're talking about the decision that you make we're talking about the decision that you make with your new person based on what your old person might think. For instance, people do this all the time. Oh, I'm going to pick this one because if my ex see me with her, she'll get mad. If my ex see me with him, he'll get mad. You still inside the other relationship because you letting your energy sit back there somewhere because you're still trying to fulfill some kind of, still trying to make it even somehow. Somehow you still feel like you need to fulfill the imbalance. I mean, you know, tell me if I'm wrong, or tell me what you think. It's consideration at its low vibration. It's not vibrating high because you're not saying anything to really solidify the relationship based on what works well for you. You still making it about the person you was with the last time. No different than people make their success about their haters. Why? I don't know why people do that. No, this was from haters. I don't understand why people do that, because I feel like you don't work for them. I understand they give you fuel. I think I've said this before in one of my old videos. I don't know, but some people are just dedicated to that. And it's like, if you needed to just depend on you and all your haters go away because everybody loves you now, if you needed the people to hate you in order to give you the fire to do what you need to do, then I don't know. Anyway, so in terms of the relationship, you still inside of it because you're still trying to get back at them. Then this kind of works in other ways. Say, and the other context was, obviously, if everything is on bad terms. The other context is our relationship wasn't so bad. We just didn't mix. We wanted two different things. That's that. But you got really close, and, really close, and it just was a good overall relationship. It didn't have to turn into romance or anything like that. But when it did, you knew that if a breakup ever came, it was going to make everything really weird. Because it's kind of like this person was the one without the other. Okay, so you're super supportive, but just not in the sense of I can do everything with you. So let's say you try to talk to someone new and you find yourself struggling because you're still thinking about the positive attributes of the last person that you were with. Listen, I'm trying to get you to see. I'm trying to explain this to see if this has been in any way part of your thought process. And if it has, then consider this to be one of the reasons why you may still feel like this little nudge to go backwards. Okay, so you have the cooperative ex-person. Okay, so you start to feel a new person that you're talking to, but no matter what you do, you're still replaying old times. You're still ruminating. You're still living there. And you can't make you can't make a decision about a person that you're talking to currently, no matter how great they are, because how great they are, it's just like, well, if you're great and the last person's great, what the fuck I'm sitting here with you for? I might as well just stay with them. So then you don't want to look foolish and you don't want to look like a sucker, so you don't go back to the person that you just saying, oh, well, I might as well just been with them. You stay with the new person. Every single decision that you make is based on what that old person might think. Not in a negative sense. Now we're not in a negative sense. I'm about to tell you what you're thinking. Will they be sad if they see me with them? Oh my goodness, I know we verbally agreed to move on and we're not together, but I would just hate to see their feelings hurt. I would just, oh my goodness, it would make me feel so bad. You don't think you still inside that relationship? People crack me up. You think you gotta be physically next to a person to be in a relationship with them energetically. That's a joke. I mean, the only reason why you really required to sit around a person, like the physical requirement, if you don't know how to do that other special stuff, is fucking or eating, washing clothes, doing the dishes together. I don't know, moving the couch. You can fit anything you want in that little space. But I'm just saying, when you energetically connect with a person, you can't undo it. I'm sorry to disappoint you. You can hate them till the cows come home, but once you have physically connected to another person, it can't be undone. It's either going to be two things, healed or unresolved. That's it. If you stay away from the person long enough and let's use that as an example. You stay away from them long enough and you don't really resolve the issue. You don't stay in it long enough to fix it. You just separate yourself. And even the things that you may think you were right about, once you break up with them, you don't really take the time to say, well, maybe I should try this different with this person. You just have physically removed yourself from the presence of the relationship, but the relationships are created energetically first. Capital T at the end. So when you have these type of relationships and they go broken and never mended, then they're always vibrating low as unmended, and it always leaves energy for the same type of relationship to resurface. That's why you keep going through the same thing with different faces and different body shapes and different physical attributes, because what's happening is the universe is trying to show you, trying to say to you, if I show you this one type soul in 10 different ways, will you finally see what they look like without looking at them physically? And if this soul can show you the things that you need to fix, will you fix it? And so if you don't take the time to fix it, you go back to those old kind of relationships. And then when you're in the new relationship, which you think is supposed to replace the old relationship, you're still thinking about the other person, or you're saying, thank God you're not them. Maybe I can try what I was doing before because I was right. Maybe I can just try it with you now since you're so different. You're so different from them. Oh my God. And then the same shit happens. Why does it happen? Because you took your idea that didn't work. It didn't work in the last relationship, the last one. It didn't work. And so you think that sticking the idea to the new face is supposed to, that's insanity. All of it still vibrates under that same low vibration. The fact that whatever your, cute idea was, had a falling out, left negativity on whatever that idea or thought form was, you got to change it. You have to change it. You have to change it. So when you move on and try to be in relationships that you're not still thinking about what your exes might think, it wasn't too long ago that I had a conversation like this with somebody else that's very close to me, and I realized, and this was in like, it's, even though I've been saying that it's been a really nostalgic energy, it's a lot of shedding energy going on at the same time, because that's what it does. Those youthful feelings allow you to be free from, those other things that keep you held down. So I just feel like now, like within this time, there's a lot of shifts happening. What was I saying right before this? Damn, what was I just talking about? Well, anyway, I think I was talking about being in the same type of relationship. Shapeshifter. That's an easy way to say it. Shapeshifter. Still embodying the same force, the same vibration, but not really changing the actual vibration. So you can live inside of a vase, you can live inside of a trash can, you can live inside of a cat, a dog, a mouse, a this, a that, but your personality never changes. So you have to do some reprogramming within yourself first, so that you can attract your real idea. Sometimes with some relationships, I don't care whether they're romantic or friend, if they fall apart, it's showing you that your idea needed a little more thought in order to get it to work well. It worked well up to a point. So I'm saying that because I feel like a lot of people do suffer this. They, are trying to just make things work. What happens is you just get to a point where you just want something to work. And you've gotten to the point where you understand, or maybe allow yourself through the course of a number of relationships, you gave yourself the chance to try and understand what you should have done. And maybe for some people, sometimes it's too much to be undone for them to try a specific kind of effort. But then for others, they just like, fuck it. This is exactly what I did. I probably will never do this again now that I realize what the hell I've been doing all this time. Oh my God, I don't even know how many people I hurt because this is the way I was doing stuff. This is crazy. And then they literally just move on or move forward from there, not really knowing how many hearts they truly left broken, and how that also contributes to the instance where you have lingering low vibrational things that could come pop up later. I asked the guy one day that I was talking to a couple years ago if he had the opportunities to go to, some of his exes, especially the people in a relationship with him that meant the most, the people he really cared about, would, and maybe it was, left on bad ends, would you go back and apologize to them, bring them flowers, embrace them, and heal the open wound? Because the woman usually always needs to talk, and in a lot of women's experience, it's the male that just does the walking away. So I asked him, would you sit and have the conversation? Would you explain what might have been going on with you at the time that will give her more clarity? Because whatever was going on at the time, it doesn't necessarily mean that this person would have stayed with you, but if you gave them enough respect to give them the truth and an explanation of why you didn't feel like you were good where you fit with them, then they can respect that clarity, and then understand your perspective, which sometimes is hard, but understand it because you were willing to be honest. And I say this all the time because it's so true, that honesty will literally get you anything you want. And a lot of people don't think so because the ego and the fear tells them if you tell them the truth, it's going to ruin everything. Well, if you lie to them and they find out later, it's going to do the same thing 10 times worse. So I don't even know where I am right now in this damn conversation. Okay, I'm under the influence. I'm sitting out here. It's quiet. I'm surprised my kids haven't run out here yet and let me sit in my little teeny oasis by myself. Thank you. They must be on their computer. This is the only time I would thank God for computers because, oh my gosh, the world. Anyway, I feel like this affects our decision making too, with a lot of other stemming things. Because usually when you are in a relationship with a person and things are flowing well together, that idea works. So naturally your other ideas you insist are going to work too. And whatever thoughts or whatever ideas were attached to that, like a domino, even your best, most positive ideas become shadowy because it's like, well, goodness, if I attach this thought to that person and this is supposed to turn out that way and this all got ruined, then what does this even say about my good thoughts? And this is how people get stuck and not knowing whether or not they're making right decisions even for their life. It's crazy. It's so deep. It's crazy. So it literally affects everything. That's why I was saying the other day in my other video, love affects everything. It affects your money. It affects the outcome of your life. Because people always want to know about themselves. They want to know about themselves, their money, and their love. Okay, it's that's our trifecta right there. That's our Father, Son, and Holy Ghost right there. You know what I'm saying? Like you always, like you always want to know. I would say your father is your money. Your son is your love life, and yourself is your ghost. That's what I would say. That's how I would put that together. And it make a whole lot of sense to me, Alright, so just getting back to what I was saying before about Molly and Issa's conversation when she said that she thinks that she likes mess. I said all of that and explained all of those other things because sometimes it may not even be that you like the mess. It's just that's what your program follows. And you can call it this and name it that and try to make it appear as one thing, but it keeps yielding you the same results. Even if to the people outside of you keep seeing your picture getting greater and greater, you may cause yourself to suffer in silence because you see your problem, but you're not really doing anything about it. Nothing. And I'm talking just about relationships, but you see how this thought process can easily affect anything else. It don't matter. At that point, it don't matter which would apply the thought process to. Do you like mess? When you are involved with your family, how do you get involved in the resolution part? Are you the person that's doing the antagonizing or nagging about the issue? Or are you being the optimist, really trying to resolve things? Like, who are you in these instances? Are you the person that walks away and don't care? You think that just because you go quietly off in a corner somewhere, that means that you're not in it. If you were exposed to it and you do nothing, or you don't say anything about it, or don't address it, that's a problem. I'm not saying that you need to go, walk in a room, turn stuff over, and leave, but it's been exposed to you, and now you see something that you can't unsee and hear something you can't unhear, and you just sit there. What are you going to do? What do you think is best to do? So are you that type of person in your friendships? Are you that type of person in your romantic relationships? Are you that type of person as a parent? Are you that type of person as a child if you don't have any children of your own? Are you that person that is a parent that does have children and that's still functioning out of a space of immaturity? Who are you? And how is that translating over everything? Is this the same person that you are at your job? Is this the same way you perform at your job? Or are you a really good performer and your numbers come up good, or you everything else is like 100%, and it's one area. There's one area they still talking to you about. That was me at every job. At every single job that I've had. Jennifer, this is good, this is good, this is good, this is good, but this, and I'm like, I'm going to do that my way. See what I'm saying? Because you think your way makes more sense. But their way simplifies the job and gets the job done. You too emotionally attached to the result. I worked in customer service for years. Empathetic AF. I got attached to their issue and attached to getting their problem solved very quickly. Period. We don't need to sit here and listen to you complain. I already know what you need. Let me do it. All right, hold on a minute. 1 to 3 minutes supposed to be on hold. I got them on hold for 10 minutes, but I'm resolving the issue so that you do not have to call us back. Bye. Don't want to talk to you again. So, what type of person are you? Who are you? And do you think that just because you take those ethics and practice it as a romantic relationship when it didn't work, or it was toxic as a parent-child relationship, or toxic as a friend-to-friend relationship, did you think that just because you moved those habits over to romance that it was going to be on auto fine? Like what? Nah. But most of the time we do, because most of us practice insanity before we practice the shit that makes sense. You gotta be dumb first in order to know that you even have common sense. You gotta be dumb. You don't have to be, but most of the time that's just how it is. You see what I'm saying? I'm tired. I'm probably gonna end up going in the house because I feel like a baby. You know how the night air. And who's breathing in this all night? Are you crazy? Doing it. I'm gonna go in the house. Anyway. So that's the last part I was going to say. Sometimes we leave things lingering without knowing, and when we go to not address them, then they create their own living space and their own emotional rules of survival on the inside of you, in the basement part of you, in the us part of you. Remember that movie? Creepy, huh? And they start to make decisions of when something comes to knock on their door, or in other words, trigger, how they're going to react, separate from the person that you put on every day. Listen, if this shit go down because this ain't resolved, listen, all hats come off. This is it. This is how we doing it. Like that. You know what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm just asking you who you are. Have you been this dumb? I have. Let me be the first one in the class to stand up. If the teacher ever says, anyone ever been this much of an ass? Yes. Here I go. So I get a prize for standing up first. I'm going to go ahead and go to bed because this is getting a little ridiculous.